This is an inspiring story about a poor girl named Emma who lost everything but never gave up. She worked hard, helped her family, and built a successful life. Her journey will touch your heart and show you that anything is possible. Watch this video to the end to see how Emma turned her life around. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us create more stories like this. A very beautiful story. Emma was a young girl who lived in a small, poor village. Her family had little money, but they had each other. They lived in an old wooden house. The roof had holes, and when it rained, water dripped onto the floor. In winter, the wind blew through the cracks in the walls, making the rooms cold. They had only one small stove to keep warm. Emma lived with her mother, father, and little sister, Lily. Her mother was kind but always tired. She worked hard every day. She grew vegetables in their small garden and sold them at the market in the village. She woke up early in the morning and carried heavy baskets of potatoes and carrots. Sometimes she came home with a few coins. Sometimes she sold nothing. Emma's father was a quiet man with strong hands. He fixed old bicycles for the villagers. People brought their rusty, broken bikes to him. He worked outside under a small shed even when it was cold. His hands were rough and dirty, but he smiled when he made a bike work again. He did not earn much money, but he tried his best. Little Lily was only 6 years old. She had big brown eyes and long hair. She was always laughing and playing in the garden. She liked to pick flowers and give them to Emma. "For you, sister," she would say with a big smile. Emma was 15. She loved her family very much, but she worried about their future. Their house was falling apart. Sometimes they had little food. She saw her mother come home with sore feet and her father rub his tired hands. Emma wanted more for them. She wanted a better life. Emma loved to read. She borrowed books from the village teacher. She read stories about big cities, schools, and jobs. She read about people who worked hard and became successful. She dreamed of leaving the village one day. She wanted to find a good job and make money. She wanted to buy a warm house for her family. Every night before she slept, Emma whispered to herself, "One day I will make life better. I will help my mother and father. I will give Lily a bright future." These thoughts gave her hope. But life in the village was hard. Every day was a struggle. They had little money. Their house was old, but they were a family, and Emma had a dream. One evening, a terrible thing happened. A fire started in their small house. It spread quickly. Emma woke up to the smell of smoke. She grabbed Lily's hand and ran outside. Her mother and father followed. The flames were big and hot. They watched their house burn. Everything was gone. Clothes, books, photos, their little home turned to black ash. Emma's father tried to save some things, but the fire burned his arms and hands. He cried in pain. He could not work anymore. Emma's mother was very scared. She worried about where they would live. She worried about food. The stress made her sick. She got a bad cough and felt weak all the time. They had no money. They had no home. Emma looked at Lily. He was cold and hungry. She felt a deep pain in her heart. Emma had to leave school. She loved learning, but now her family needed her. She found work on a farm. She picked apples and tomatoes under the hot sun. Her hands were dirty. Her back hurt. Every morning, Emma woke up early. She worked all day. In the evening, she came home tired, but she smiled at Lily and her parents. She made soup from cheap vegetables. She helped her mother get to bed. She put a cool cloth on her father's hands. Some nights Emma cried when no one saw her. She missed her books. She missed her old life, but she never showed her sadness. She wanted to be strong for her family. Emma whispered to herself, "I can do this. I will not give up. My family needs me." One sunny morning, Emma went to the village market with her mother. The market was always busy and noisy. People sold fruits, vegetables, bread, and handmade goods. Farmers called out their prices. Children ran around, laughing. Women talked with each other about their families. Emma and her mother carried baskets full of potatoes, carrots, and onions. They hoped to sell everything because they needed money for food and medicine. Emma's father was still feeling weak after the fire. Her mother was often tired and coughed a lot. Emma knew they had to work harder than ever. As they found a spot to set up their small stall, Emma helped arrange the vegetables neatly. She smiled at people walking by, hoping someone would buy their produce. Suddenly, she heard a loud crash nearby. Emma turned her head quickly. She saw an older woman standing in shock. Wooden crates had fallen, and jars of sweets were broken on the ground. Bright red and yellow candies rolled everywhere. The woman looked upset. Her hands shook as she tried to pick up the jars. Without thinking, Emma ran to help. She knelt beside the woman and started picking up the candies. She worked fast, carefully placing the unbroken jars back into the crates. Her hands moved quickly, and she stayed calm. "Thank you, dear," the woman said with a tired smile. "These sweets are from my factory. I was bringing them to sell at the market." Emma nodded and continued helping. Together they saved most of the sweets. Emma noticed the woman's kind face and warm eyes. When everything was in order, the woman looked at Emma closely. "You are very quick and hard-working," she said. "What is your name?" "My name is Emma," she replied, a little shy. "I am Miss Roberts. I own a small sweet factory outside the village. Would you like to work there? We need good helpers like you." Emma was surprised. Her heart raced. A real job? This could help her family. She thought of her mother and father and little Lily. "Yes, Miss Roberts, I would love to work," Emma said with hope in her voice. Miss Roberts smiled. "Come to the factory tomorrow morning. We will see how you do." Emma thanked her many times. She felt happy and proud. For the first time in a long while, she saw a little light in their dark days. Maybe this was the start of something better. That night, Emma told her family. Her mother hugged her, and her father smiled. Lily clapped her hands. Emma went to bed feeling hopeful. Maybe, just maybe, life was about to change. Emma started working at Miss Roberts' sweet factory the very next day. She was nervous but excited. The factory was small but busy. Workers packed candies into boxes, stirred big pots of caramel, and wrapped sweets in colorful paper. The smell of sugar filled the air. Miss Roberts showed Emma how to pack candies into small boxes. It was simple, but needed care. The boxes had to look neat, and each one had the same number of sweets. Emma paid attention. She worked quickly but carefully. At first, her fingers were slow. Sometimes she dropped candies. But Emma didn't give up. Every day, she got better. Soon her boxes were perfect, and she worked faster than most. But Emma didn't stop there. She watched other workers. She saw how they did their tasks. She noticed some things took too long. Sometimes people had to wait for each other. Emma had an idea. One day she went to Miss Roberts. "Miss Roberts, may I speak to you?" she asked. Miss Roberts smiled. "Of course, Emma." Emma explained her idea. "If we put the caramel pots closer to the packing table, it will save time. And if we put more wrapping paper near the workers, they won't have to walk far. It might help us work faster." Miss Roberts listened. She liked Emma's ideas. They tried the changes, and it worked. The workers finished their orders faster. Miss Roberts was pleased. She noticed Emma had good ideas. Emma was not just a hard worker, she was smart too. Over the next few years, Emma continued to work hard. She was never late. She was kind to other workers. She always looked for ways to help. Miss Roberts trusted her more and more. One day she said, "Emma needs someone to help me with the accounts and orders. Would you like to learn?" Emma was surprised but happy. "Yes, Miss Roberts, I would love to learn." Emma started learning about money and numbers. She learned how to check orders, write down sales, and pay workers. At first it was hard, but Emma worked in the evenings reading and practicing. Soon she became good at it. Miss Roberts taught her more. Emma learned about buying ingredients, talking to suppliers, and even how to sell more sweets. Year by year, Emma grew. She was no longer just a packer. She became Miss Roberts' helper, her right hand. Emma felt proud. She was helping her family. She was helping the factory. She was building a future. Years passed and Emma worked harder than ever. She loved the factory. It was like a second home. She knew every worker by name. She knew how everything worked, from the caramel pots to the money books. Miss Roberts was getting older. Her hair was gray, and she moved slowly. One afternoon, she called Emma to her office. "Emma, I have something important to tell you," she said with a gentle smile. Emma sat down, feeling nervous. "I am going to retire soon," Miss Roberts said. "I want to rest and spend time with my grandchildren, but I need someone to take care of the factory." Emma listened carefully. "You are like family to me, Emma. You have worked hard, and I trust you. I want you to take over the factory," Miss Roberts said. Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Me? Really?" Miss Roberts nodded. "Yes, you will do a great job." Emma was happy and scared at the same time. It was a big responsibility, but she said, "Thank you. I will do my best." When Miss Roberts retired, Emma became the new owner. At first it was hard. She had to make big decisions. Sometimes she worried. Sometimes she couldn't sleep. But Emma remembered everything Miss Roberts taught her. She listened to the workers. She worked with them. She was kind and fair. Emma had new ideas. She made new types of sweets, chocolate with nuts, fruit candies, and soft toffees. She asked shops in other villages to sell their sweets. More people bought them. The factory became busier. Emma hired more workers. Some were young girls like she once was. She paid them well and treated them with respect. Soon the factory grew. They bought new machines. They made more sweets than ever before. Emma earned good money, but she didn't forget her family. She fixed their old house. She made sure her mother and father were comfortable. Lily went back to school. Emma looked around the factory one day. She saw happy workers, busy machines, and boxes of sweets ready to be sent to shops. She smiled. Her hard work had changed her life and the lives of others. Emma's life had changed. She was no longer a poor girl from a small village. She was now a successful businesswoman. But Emma never forgot where she came from. She never forgot the hard days when her family had nothing. One day, Emma took her parents and Lily to see a new house. It was big and beautiful. It had a strong roof, warm rooms, and a big garden. "This is your house now," Emma said with a smile. Her mother started to cry. Her father hugged Emma tightly. Lily jumped with joy. "We don't have to be cold anymore?" Lily asked. "No, never again," Emma said. Her parents finally felt safe. Her father was feeling better, and he could walk and do small jobs around the house. Her mother's health improved. She loved working in the garden and growing flowers. Emma felt happy, but she wanted to do more. She thought about other girls in the village. Some of them were like she had been, poor, tired, and with no hope. Emma had an idea. She talked to her workers and her friends. Together they opened a small school. It was not a normal school. It was a place where girls could learn useful skills, how to sew, how to cook, and how to work with money. Emma taught them how to work hard and believe in themselves. She told them her story. She wanted them to know that life could get better if they didn't give up. Many girls came to the school. They learned new things and became confident. Some of them started their own small businesses. Some found good jobs. They all felt stronger. But Emma didn't stop there. She remembered the houses that burned down in the big fire. Some families still lived in broken homes. Emma used her money to help rebuild the houses. The village began to change. People smiled more. They helped each other. One day, a little girl ran up to Emma. "Thank you, Miss Emma. My mama has a new job because of you," the girl said. Emma knelt down and hugged her. At that moment, Emma felt something better than money. She felt love, respect, and happiness. Her journey had been hard, but now she knew helping others was the greatest success of all. Emma's story taught many people an important lesson. Life can be hard. Sometimes everything seems bad. Sometimes you feel tired, sad, and alone. But Emma showed that there is always hope. She believed in 3 things: work hard, never give up, help others. Emma knew that life does not change in one day. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes work. When her house burned down, she was afraid. But she did not stop. She worked on the farm. She cared for her family. When she started working at the factory, she was just a packer. But she worked hard. She tried to do her best every day. Emma always thought, if I keep going, life will get better. And it did. Emma became the owner of the factory. She bought a house for her family. She helped other girls. She rebuilt homes in her village. Emma often told young girls, life is not easy. But if you work hard, if you don't give up, and if you help others, your life will change. You will be proud. You will be happy. Many people listened to Emma's words. They started to work hard. They started to help each other. Their lives became better. Emma's story is a story of hope. It teaches us that kindness and hard work can change our lives. So when life is hard, remember Emma's words. Work hard. Never give up. Help others. And one day you will see life can become beautiful. Thank you for watching. If you liked this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more English learning adventures. See you in the next story.